In this video, I'll be walking through exactly how to set up an AI voice agent for real estate within SendFlow. This will be a two-part video. The second part of this video will be walking through how to build a matching chatbot for real estate as well using another software called CloseBot. So welcome to the video. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jesse. I'm the owner of AI Bot Builders R Us, and we specialize in creating customized AI-based solutions in the form of AI voice agents, chatbots, and data entry automations for a variety of different business niches. So let's go ahead and dive in. All of the documents and links, everything else, the softwares, all the resources that I reference in this video, including the CRM that we'll be walking through, Go High Level, during the setup, all of that will be in the description below, all the links. If you want to use any of the documents, by the way, go ahead and make sure that you are clicking on File and Make a Copy. I have people email requests all the time for shared access to the document. These are templates. I do not give shared access to them because then, I have to change them all the time, make my own copies. So this is the master copy of the template. If you want to go ahead and use it, you can make your own copy. Click on File, make a copy, rename it, whatever you want to. But for the sake of this video, let's go ahead and dive in. We will be using SendFlow for the setup. So let's walk through the prompt, and then we'll actually walk through how to customize this for your specific agency or brokerage. So first things first, the upper part of the prompts here, before we get into anything about information about the business, so basically information about the company, from here up, I would not touch any of this outside of anything that is highlighted. You can change the name. You can change, obviously, the company name. Don't mess with the personality, the tone, the role, unless you're very experienced in prompt engineering, in which case you wouldn't be using my prompt anyway because you have your own. Do not mess with any of this. We've used it in a variety of different industries, and it works very well. Sounds great. We've had no issues with it. So anyway, moving on. Information about the company, everything that is highlighted in this, you would have to go ahead and fill in. There's a few things in here that are just kind of little customizations that we added to make the AI voice agent sound a little more personalized, like a human. So if you're asking about the location, if you're a brick and mortar and you have one location, or if you have different phone numbers, attached to every single location that you're using an AI voice agent. So for example, are you familiar with the area versus just saying, here's the address? It's a little more natural. Are you familiar with the area? Or do you live locally? All that kind of stuff. Are you from around here? If they say yes, okay, we're going to let them know, okay, we're right in town off this road next to this. If they say no, then no problem. Here's the address. Let me know when you're ready to write that down, that sort of thing. So I'm going to walk through exactly what to do, where to put this within SendFlow, and then actually how to build a brand new AI voice agent from scratch, start to finish, within SendFlow. So let's go ahead and dive in there, and we will walk through that. Okay, so I am within our demo account for SendFlow, where we house everything that you can hear on our social medias and website for people calling in looking for just kind of what they sound like. I'm going to go ahead and click on Create Assistant. We'll be doing Start from Scratch, Inbound Agent. So this will be handling incoming calls. Outbound agents are set up slightly differently. So this is, people calling in from Facebook leads, maybe a billboard, sign in someone's yard, that sort of thing. So I'll go ahead and name my agent here. Very first thing I'll do, and then we're going to actually just start walking through. You can put an image in there if you want to, but it's not going to affect the quality of how this thing works. Voice engine, currently we are still using version 1. Version 2 you can use, but it's going to have some extra stuff in there, and I have heard, honestly, that version 1 is still better because version 2 is the newest thing, so they're still doing testing, things like that. AI model, I'm going to leave this at ChatGPT 4. Time zone, you can select wherever you're currently at based on where you live or where the AI voice agent will be used. Knowledge base, I'm going to go ahead and leave this blank. We're going to put the majority of that in our prompt. If you have advanced stuff that you want to do with API integrations to actually tie it directly into whatever your CRM is that you house all of your data, then you can do that with websites like Pabbly.com or Make.com, or even Zapier has some functions there, but we're not going to go into that in this video. So custom vocabulary, I will leave that out. Filler words, I'll leave that out as well. Use realistic filler words. I'm going to go ahead and leave that out. Next thing we'll do here is move on from general to voice, and then now I'm going to actually dial in exactly what this will sound like. So this is Jessica. I'll let you go ahead and listen to this. This is how you pick your voice based on the sound, the tone, all that kind of stuff you want. And then the rest of this, how this behaves, is based on the prompt that we'll walk through in just a moment. Okay, so that's Jessica. Not bad. Sounds great overall. We prefer using Natasha. If someone wants a gal, I pretty much always use this one. Let's see if we can hear this. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and use Natasha here. So I'll select that, hit select, and then this will pull me right back out. Perfect. So patience level, I'm going to go ahead and leave this at 1. So this is basically just how long it's going to wait to talk whenever it's talking to someone. So I don't want to make it medium or high. I don't want to have it be super delayed, have a ton of latency. So patience level. And again, if you're walking through this, you've never done this, you can follow along step by step with this video, but you can also just read exactly what they have here as far as like the descriptions for each thing. Stability, don't touch this. Style exaggeration, I'm going to go ahead and bring this to 1. If you move this further and further and further, again, it enhances the distinct characteristics of the original voice, but may slow down processing. So the more flair I give the AI voice agent, the more it's going to have to process, and the slower it's going to think. Essentially, if you're looking at it from like an AI, LLM model. So I'm going to leave that at 1. Similarity, I don't touch that ever. We've messed around with a lot of different stuff, doing optimizations for client builds and our own demo builds. I found what it's set on currently works great. Optimize latency. I'm going to go ahead and come to here, if it'll move me to 1. There we go. So you can either do 1 or you can do 0. I would not do anything beyond that. What I would encourage you to do is, based on your preferences, test this out. So see exactly what you like better. If you like the sound of 1, if you like the sound of 0, do whatever you'd like, but you can mess around with that. Okay, next thing. So voice prompting. And this is going to be said, caring, friendly, and professional. We've seen this work very well across, multiple industries. So I'm going to go ahead and type this in. So we'll do caring, friendly, and professional. Okay, awesome. Go ahead and save that here. Changes saved. So the nice thing about SendFlow is every single time I make a change, I don't have to do anything. It's going to actually go ahead and save that change for me outside of some things within the prompt. Okay, call configuration, ring duration. This is an incoming call. I want it to ring for about 3 seconds. I want it to feel natural. I think we've all had times that someone picked up the phone like literally almost before it could ring, and it kind of catches you off guard. I want this to feel as natural as possible. So we're going to go ahead and go to about 3 seconds here. You can do 2, you can do 4. I found 3 works pretty well. Limit call duration. Now, you get charged for a couple different things within SynthFlow or really any of the AI voice agent calling providers. So first way you get charged is the software itself. So you have the monthly subscription. Second way you get charged is for usage. So if you're looking at it from a perspective of, okay, we're handling 100 calls or 1,000 calls or 5,000, 10,000 calls a month, I don't want to waste time on phone calls with people that either aren't qualified or people that are not talking to the AI voice agent. So I usually will set this depending on the client that we're building it for and their needs. I'm going to set this to maybe somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. You can find what works for you. There's no reason to have a call go longer than 10 minutes if they're calling in off of a billboard or, a Facebook lead or a real estate sign. There's just no need for them to have a conversation 10 minutes long with the AI voice agent. They need to schedule something. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this at 10 minutes, but I would encourage you just mess around with this. The longer they're on the phone call, the more you get charged for, the Twilio usage or RingCentral, whoever else you're using for the phone number provider. But I'll usually leave this between 5 and 10 minutes. I do have some that will build that will put it down to 3 minutes because it's a very short phone call just to pre-qualify them before doing a live call transfer or scheduling them in the calendar. So you can mess with this, put it at whatever you want. After recording consent, you can do this. I usually will put this in the greeting versus switching this on. So I'll have this in the greeting, hey, thanks for calling, insert company name here. How can I help you today? By the way, this call is going to be recorded for quality assurance and, training purposes, whatever else you want to put in there. If you want to use this, you can go ahead and just add whatever sentence you want here. So may I confirm consent? You could just say, do I have your permission to record today's call? Or just so you know, today's call is going to be recorded. Do I have your consent to go ahead and move forward with that? So I'll go ahead and leave this off. Enable recordings. This is something that you want to switch on because I can actually listen to all the calls. Listening to the calls allows me to optimize the AI voice agent continually over time versus just during the initial testing phase, which is usually a week, couple weeks, depending on exactly how much you have in the prompt. It could take 20 days, 30 days, but usually that's more on the clients, and we'll do a final optimization once we're rolling these out for someone, and once they give us a green light, hey, that's good to go, and we've met the revisions that are agreed to in the contract, then it's on them after that to make tweaks and adjustments. But generally speaking, enabling recordings gives you the ability to really just overall listen to the phone calls, make sure that you're still happy with everything months down the road. Enable transcripts, definitely 100% always have this flipped on. There's a lot of things you can do in here with call summaries that you can text yourself or email yourself after a phone call. That way you know exactly what happened specifically on the call, and you can make post-call outcome data out of all this, which we'll get into later. Okay, now we'll go to the prompt. So they already have a prompt in here. It's always a template. I would not use this ever, but go ahead and pop out from Synthful if you're following along right now and go into this document. So we're going to go ahead and walk all the way down to knowledge base. Okay. I have some examples in here of, listing properties, things like that. Let's say you're a smaller agent and you have no less than, maybe 5 homes at a time, but no more than like a dozen. You could build all of that within SynthFlow and just update the prompt regularly without doing API key or any of that kind of stuff if you're not super techy. So I'm going to go ahead and come down to right here. We're going to copy and paste in all of the prompt that we currently have. And then I'll just kind of walk through this step by step, and then also walk you through some ways that you can modify this if you were using, let's say, ChatGPT, which I would highly recommend using when it comes to modifying prompts, especially if you're not experienced. So I'll go ahead and click on Edit here. I'm going to just highlight all this, get rid of it, paste the other one in, okay? And then I'll go ahead and walk through the greeting. So you can make the greeting whatever you want to. I always make this as natural as possible. You can say, hey, hello, thank you for calling, thanks for calling. I'll usually go with something simple. So thanks for calling, company. Okay, if we can type here, that'd be great. Thanks for calling, whatever the company is. How can I assist you today? You could ask another question. You could say, are you calling about listing, buying, or something else? So whatever you want it to do here. And then based on that, you could actually trigger different things in the prompt. If they say, I'm calling about buying, you could have the AI voice agent repeat that with a prompt that says, okay, so it sounds like you're calling about buying a house. Is that correct? Yes, great. Okay, let's go ahead and collect some basic contact information, and then you can actually just kind of get on with the call. Okay, so let's walk through some things in the prompt here. I'll go back out into the document. We're going to save this. This overall should sound pretty good if we were to test this with a live phone call right now, just as it is without even customizing it. But I'll go ahead and pop in here, and we will just kind of walk through a few different things. So first things first, I told you don't touch anything basically outside of the name of the AI voice agent and the name of your company with the information about identifying the purpose of the call. This is already pretty dialed in. Basically, this is just trying to figure out why they're calling. Structured contact information process. So identify the caller's intent and gather contact information. So basically, this is just a way to make sure that you can follow up just in case the call is dropped, they hang up, or whatever else, or they don't schedule anything. So when it comes to here, this is all title case, by the way, if you're using this in Google Doc, so you can actually click through just like I'm doing right now. So we have questions for sellers, just trying to understand the property that they're looking to get out of to sell, and then also questions for buyers. What are they looking for specifically? And now we can take all this information between the call recording and the transcript, and we can build what's called post-call outcome data, where we put this into call summaries using AI like ChatGPT or Claude or something else, to where we can take this, we can do a call summary, text that to you, just kind of the highlights of, hey, here's their budget, here's how soon they want to sell, here's where they live, here's what they're looking for, here's how soon they want to buy, yes, they're pre-approved for financing, they're ready to go, no, they're not working with an agent, all this different kind of stuff that you could build into the prompt and then pull out of the transcript and actually get sent to yourself, so you can see what happens on every single call real time. So ideal scenario for this is you're a crazy busy agent, or maybe you're a busy agent who works from 9 to 5 and you do real estate in the evening and on weekends. You don't have time to call every single person back if they're just a tire kicker. So if it's a 19-year-old kid, like, hey, I just got into sales and I want to go walk through a house because I think it'd be cool to own a big house and I can't buy one for 5 years. Like, I'm not saying that you don't want to call that person back. Don't be rude, but it's probably not a person that you want to, make time in your calendar schedule, do a walkthrough. They're not ready to buy. They have no financing available. So it just kind of helps you vet some things. And this is able to answer calls when you're not able to. So, okay, appointment scheduling, we'll walk through this real quick. So identify the purpose. So figuring out exactly why they're wanting to schedule for times, and then we walk through this in the most human way possible. So do mornings or afternoons generally work better for you? Again, if you're an agent that works 9 to 5, you work a full-time job, you could change this. That way it's not asking, do mornings work for you? And they're like, okay, we never have mornings available, so they can't schedule anyway. Is there a specific day of the week that you're looking for? And then provide availability. So, okay, so mornings work better for you and you're looking for anything between Wednesday and Saturday. Great. And the AI voice agent will say, okay, it looks like we've got Wednesday at 9 a.m. or Friday at 11 a.m. Do either one of these work for you? Great. We're going to go ahead and confirm the first and last name, best phone number for the confirmation and reminders, and then additional details about their service needs. So, okay, we scheduled you for this date at this time. This is the best phone number. And then, you're wanting to walk through blah, blah, blah. So, okay. Current listings. You can go ahead and put whatever you want here, but we have a listings overview, and I just went ahead and listed 10 properties here. We made these up in ChatGPT. I didn't actually put real addresses in here. We gave just like a brief description, charming suburban oasis. You can do whatever you want here. Located at There's the address. These are on Lansing, Michigan. These could be real addresses. I don't know what ChatGPT pulled. But anyway, so these are all of the real estate just listings here that we have. So we have 10 of them. You could build this in the prompt, or you could put this in the knowledge base, or you could do API integration, so it's connecting real time with whatever your CRM is. That way, if something sells or it's taken out of there, it can pull it real time, and you're not worrying about hopping in here and changing things. But if you're a smaller agent, you can make this work very easily. You could update this in, minutes with the prompt, refresh it, and then now it's going to act differently for the very next phone call. Couple things about the listings. Every single listing needs to have its own set of frequently asked questions, okay? Just like if someone called you and they're like, hey, look, I just drove past sign at 321 Maple Avenue in Lansing, and it looks like it's a ranch-style home, white siding. Do you know which house I'm talking about? Oh, yeah, we just listed that a couple days ago. Great couple. We're actually looking to get that moved in the next 90 days. Do you want to do a walkthrough? Yeah, I have a couple questions. Is the home move-in ready? What's the average utility cost? So they can go through and they can ask all these things. It's pet-friendly community. Random. Is the pool heated? When was the house built? Are there HOA fees? What's the square footage? All this different stuff. What school district? You can make this as long as you want to, but frequently asked questions about that property are great. Let's say you have a listing on Zillow. I could literally take this and go to ChatGPT, and I could say, compile a list, and make sure you listen closely here. Compile a list of, insert number here, 10, 20, 30, 15, frequently asked questions along with their answers regarding the property attached to this link. Make them as specific and detailed as possible. If you just tell ChatGPT to make me a list of frequently asked questions, it will literally just make you a list of questions with no answers. So make sure you're specific. But every single listing, if you're not using the knowledge base storage feature in SynthFlow or something else, even if you are, when you're building these out, it needs to have the house, the address, a description of the house, and then frequently asked questions and their answers about anything that you think regular callers would normally ask before they decided yes or no, I will or will not schedule an appointment. So that's just kind of walking through the prompt. When we go ahead and dive back into SynthFlow, the next thing that we're going to do, so we have this all in there. You would do whatever editing you wanted to. Again, this is pretty beefy. I've tested this prompt out. I've actually had a lot of feedback from agents and brokerages and things like that were very impressed with basically just this template right here. So you can do whatever you'd like to here. Like I said, you can also do more advanced integrations with APIs using make.com, Pabbly, Zapier, or whatever else you want to use. So we're going to go ahead and dive into actions and actually walk through kind of finishing this setup. And this will be part 1. And part 2, you'll actually be able to see how to build a matching chatbot with a different software that they could use the exact same phone number. So they called into the AI voice agent. They got a text afterwards. Maybe it's from you. Maybe it's from an automation of the CRM. Hey, we saw that you just called in about insert whatever here that we pulled out of the transcript from the call. And then you can actually have a conversation with the prospect, potential home buyer, and that chatbot built off of the same information to where it can answer the same questions and then schedule and everything else. So you could have this running 24/7, 365. You might be a busy agent, or you might be working full-time and doing real estate, and you can still have your leads managed 12, 16 hours a day, multiple conversations at once with the chatbot, multiple conversations simultaneously with the AI voice agent, and it takes none of your time. So next thing we're going to go ahead and walk through is setting up actions. Now, these can be used for things like scheduling and then also pulling information out of the calls, name, phone number, email, budget, financing approval, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and walk through actions. So I'm going to go ahead and do during the call. One of the most important things that we want this to be able to do, if the person qualifies, and that's all built into the prompt, exactly how you edit that and how you move it around. If they qualify to book a call, then I want to make sure they're scheduled. So in this case, we're going to use our calendar within Go High Level. I've already integrated that within every single AI voice agent in this demo account, so I'm not going to walk through that integration, but it's very simple. All you would do, go ahead and come over here to this little puzzle piece, and you're going to see if you're not integrated, there's going to be a button you can click here to actually integrate. Also, if you're looking for API keys, anything else, then you can put those here to make sure that everything's properly integrated for anything you do, like I said, in make.com or Pabbly. But I'll go ahead and come back to this guy right here, come back in our real estate agent, and then come back to actions. Okay, during the call, we're going to go ahead and click on add action. We are going to do 2 things here that are very important. Number 1 is real-time booking, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click on real-time booking. If you're already integrated with your Go High Level calendar, and I have a couple different calendars integrated with this, but if you're already integrated with that, it only integrates with one sub-account in Go High Level, meaning one user account within the software per SendFlow account. So I can't have 20 agents in here all integrated with different accounts. They have to be in each individual. This account is linked with this CRM unless you have the agency level account, which 90% of you that are watching this are just building this on your own. So we're in just a regular account here. Okay, AI demo. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. So now that is linked up. So whatever the availability is in this calendar, which I would set up in Go High Level, whatever the availability is, there is what's going to actually go ahead and take care of, if they ask for a 9 a.m. and that's not available, whether it just got booked or we're always closed off for that slot, it's going to know on the call, hey, sorry, it looks like that time's unavailable. I can offer you this or this. So, okay, the next thing we'll do is a live call transfer. Okay, call transfer. Now it is going to ask for a phone number. I'll go ahead and use this one here. It's one of my default agency numbers. Okay, so you'll pick a phone number. And I'm going to actually go in and set this up. If you want to change the phone number, you can do this. It does have to be a real phone number, and it will try to validate it. So if you put in just, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, it's going to know it's not a real phone number. So, okay. Live call transfer. Let's go ahead and walk through this. When should this transfer take place? Talk to a human, or when the user wants to talk to someone else, like a manager or business owner. So basically, you can put different prompts in your, you can put different, scripting in your prompt to actually go ahead and initiate. Would you like me to transfer you to insert here? You can do that if they ask about certain things, or if they say things like, is there anyone else I can talk to? Can I talk to a human, please? Can I talk to a manager? Can I talk to the agent themselves? All that kind of stuff. Or if they're like, look, I'm ready to buy and we have fencing available, I'm just looking to get this as soon as possible in the calendar, then that might be something you want to do a live call transfer for, even if you're at work during those hours. We'll walk through the availability in just a moment here. But basically, this is just saying, okay, this is when you want me to initiate this action. Now, with AI, I'm training everything just like it was a human. So everything I tell it has to be exactly, I want you to do this when this happens in this way, and then always do this, never say this. So that's how I prompt everything. Think of this as training an employee. If it does not work the way you want it to, two things. Either you do not know how to write the prompt properly and set up the actions, or you don't know how to optimize it, meaning you went in there and you tried to tweak stuff, and now it's worse. Overall, just keep in mind, the more concise and clear you can be, everything's black and white, the better. Okay. Extension, we're not going to mess with that. So trying to reach the target. So this is when, yes, I do want to do that transfer. Can you connect me with them now? Perfect. It's going to say this. Let me transfer you to a human. Please hold on. I like to say something like, I'll try to transfer you to one of our team members. Give me just a moment. I try to make it sound a little more human versus saying, let me transfer you to a human. You can do whatever you want to here. Let me go ahead and transfer you to our primary agent on this home. Give me just a second. You can put whatever you'd like here. Target answered message, meaning you picked up the phone from the AI voice agent transferring that call. Great. Here's what the AI voice agent will say to the lead now who was requesting the transfer. I'm transferring you now. Goodbye. You could say I'm connecting you now, whatever else you want to do. But this is what the AI voice agent is saying to the person on the phone right before that warm transfer is actually initiated. Target didn't answer the message, meaning it tried to do a warm transfer. Person said, hey, can I talk to a human? Can I talk to the AI voice agent? Excuse me, can I talk to the real estate agent themselves? And it was like, yep, let me transfer you to a human. Please hold on. And then you didn't answer. Sorry, I couldn't transfer you. Would you like to continue the conversation with me or try again later? You can put whatever you'd like to here. Hey, sorry, I couldn't reach John. Sorry, I couldn't reach Janetta. Would you like to go ahead and continue the conversation with me? It looks like we can book something on the calendar for the next 5 days. Or would you like to call back later? In this case, whatever they want to do, it'll either continue on with the prompt and finish the call and schedule them, or it'll just let them know, hey, sorry about that, go ahead and give us a call back later. So anyway, warm call transfer, temporarily unavailable for version 2. Again, great reason to use version 1. They're still rolling everything out, testing and optimizing it with version 2, so this does not really concern us. I'm going to leave all of this. We're going to go ahead and come to, okay, right here. Perfect. So voicemail detection, again, you didn't answer the phone. It figured out, okay, hit the voicemail. It's going to go back, tell the person, sorry, I couldn't complete the transfer. What do you want to come through on your end when you pick up the phone and that AI voice agent is trying to tell you exactly why it's doing a live call transfer? You have a lead connecting you shortly. You could say a potential home buyer. You could say, seller lead, whatever else. But whatever you have set up in the prompt, I like to make this as specific as possible because we've all had busy days where something happens or someone calls us about something and you're like, I'm doing thing one over here and thing two starts to happen, and I'm just not clear-minded. So I make this as concise and uh, basically a no-brainer as possible. So I want to know, you have a real estate lead coming in from your AI voice agent. I would want something that clear. That way I know exactly what's happening every single time. That way I'm not thrown off, and then I'm ready to jump into that conversation seamlessly. Pre-pause message, 1 second. Post-pause, meaning, how long does it pause before it tells you this, and how long does it pause after for you and the caller. I'm going to leave that. We haven't had any issues with that at 1 second and 1 second. Okay, human availability. Now this is when the AI voice agent will even attempt to do a call transfer. So if you have this set up, let's say that you work full-time. We talked about this earlier. So you work full-time and you only want this to do live call transfers from, let's say, I don't know, 4:45, 8:45. If someone requests anything at 4 o'clock, it's going to let them know, I'm unable to do that for you right now. Would you mind having the rest of the conversation with me? We already walked through if it's not able to do it. But you want to go ahead and set this up so that the AI voice agent will only tell the person, yeah, let me transfer you now, or I'll try to reach them now when you're available. If it's trying to reach you now, 9 through 5, and you work 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday, let's say, then that's going to just irritate people. So make sure this is set up properly. If you're like, you know what, I can do transfers anytime, you can either set up hours here or you can just shut this off. I would always leave this on and have your availability, because there's probably going to be times that you don't want to take a phone call, like 1 a.m. Probably not a time you want to take a phone call. Some drunk guy drives past your sign, calls in, let me talk to somebody. So just, use discretion here. Okay. I'll go ahead and select whatever time zone I want to use. We'll just grab this one randomly. And then human is not available message. This is when the AI will tell the person you're not available. So what do you want them to say? If they try to call you, let's say it's 9 to 5, they try to call you at 3 p.m., definitely unavailable. They try to call you at 3 p.m. What do you want it to say? So how do you want it to explain that you're not available right now? Not that it couldn't reach you, but that your availability is not open. John is not available at the moment. Please try again later. I would just say, not available to take a call transfer right now. Is there a better time to call you back, or would you like to try again later? Any of that will work, but go ahead and just make sure that this is set up the exact way you want it. I'll put something in here so I can save this. Okay. So now during the call, I have the ability to do two things. I can do real-time booking with my calendar that I have set up in my CRM, and you can build automations there with, appointment reminder text, emails, voicemail drop, all that different stuff. And then also a live call transfer. A few more things that I want to set up would be everything for post-call outcome data. I'm going to walk through exactly what post-call outcome data looks like in a workflow really quick within Go High Level, so you know exactly what you would be setting up here. And then I have a little more, deep diving this on another SynthFlow setup video that I'll link in the description. But I wanted to make this as concise as possible. But this is overall probably the most difficult part outside of optimizing the AI voice agent and doing things with API keys, which not everyone has to do. But setting up the post-call outcome data is usually something that's pretty time-consuming, and honestly, even some of the techiest people that I know tell me that they don't like to do it. They hire it out. So, this probably right here will be the part that if you want anything done with this, you might hire this out. We do set this up for people. I'm not telling you it's hard because we want, this is how we get clients. It really is pretty challenging. Even the team member that we have here that does it, who's an expert in it, it can take him some time depending on the complexity of it. So I'll walk you through exactly what this looks like in Go High Level, just so you can know, okay, what does post-call outcome data actually look like? How does it act? And what's the benefit of me having it set up, whether it's with myself, someone else, or using you guys? So we'll walk through that, and I'll show you exactly how to finish setting this up within SynthFlow. All right, so we are within our Go High Level CRM here with the agency. We're going to go ahead and walk through this workflow. So basically, the trigger status here, there's inbound and outbound post-call outcome data that you can set up, but this is just our post-call outcome data workflow. We can make this really as advanced and as basic as possible. So I'll walk you through exactly where this is at within SynthFlow, but basically you just have a webhook coming in that is passing the information again from SynthFlow into Go High Level, and then figuring out exactly what happened on that call based on what the person said, the questions they asked, and then the outcome. Did they schedule? Did they hang up? Was it the wrong number? Are they interested? Are they not? Don't ever call them back, all that sort of stuff. So what happens is that webhook is triggered from SynthFlow into Go High Level, and then now we have call status. If it was completed or not voicemail, meaning they answered the phone, whether they hung up, scheduled, anything else, it comes here. If it was not completed, meaning it did go to voicemail, I'm not going to be leaving voicemails. I can set up automations for that. In this case, we're just looking to extract data from the call. So this goes to error and the workflow ends. Now, If they did answer, I'm going to go ahead and create a contact for that person based on what happens in the call, name, phone number, email, all that good stuff. Take notes based on exactly the transcription during the call. And then out of that, I'm going to go ahead and pull things in the call so I can actually add that to their contact card, send myself summaries, all that kind of things based on the transcript from the call recording. Okay, I can add tags, whatever I want to. I'm going to add a math equation just saying, hey, look, someone did call in, and then math operation update call duration to minutes. Someone called in, call lasted this long. Okay, the next thing we'll do is actually get into the call outcomes. So we have a couple different options here. So we have, let me zoom in a little. We have booked appointment, follow-up, live transfer, not interested, wrong number, DNC, which means don't call, again, don't text them. And then, so it's kind of like D&D, do not disturb, and then no call outcome match, meaning didn't match anything we have, but we're just going to stick it over here. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and add a tag based on what the outcome was. Appointment booked, follow-up, live transfer. I'm going to add them to a different stage of my pipeline. So now I can actually silo the leads based on exactly what happened during the phone calls, which is really nice because now I actually have my pipeline right, and I can build out all kinds of different automations. I can send myself, different text messages, emails based on exactly what happened. If someone's like right there ready to buy and the AI voice agent knows that based on what happened in the call, they get moved to my pipeline. I get a notification. And then maybe if I'm a brokerage, I can have one of my other agents follow up with that person just to make sure they get contacted while everything is still warm and they're ready to go. Then I'm going to remove them from the workflow. I can add them to another workflow, a lot of different things you can do. But this is exactly what this looks like. Now, setting this up, I'm using the transcript of the call, and I'm using basically just the transcript of the call and then ChatGPT if you're looking for call summaries, and then also things like AI workflow functionalities within Go High Level. But overall, this is what this looks like, just so you can figure out exactly. You can pull a lot of different things out of the call. We recently had a client that we worked with, and we had, I think it was like a dozen or more points of data that he wanted pulled out of every single call. Their budget, their readiness to buy, why they were selling, all this different kind of stuff, exactly what they're looking for, features they're looking for, the industry that they're in. There were like 12 to 16 different things he wanted pulled out of every single call. So that took a little bit longer to build out. But again, now he had very detailed information that he could have sent over in a summary to himself with a text or an email. And then now we can see what happens every single call real time. He's going throughout his day. He's working. He's with another client. Gets a text. Someone just called about this, this, and this. Here's what they're looking for. They're qualified for financing. Here's their budget. Here's how soon they want to buy. Here's why they want to buy. All that stuff, and that can be sent straight to him because we set this up properly. Let's go ahead and dive back into SendFlow, and we'll walk through exactly where to get the webhook that we need for this right here. Okay, so I'm back in SendFlow. I'm going to go down to, so there's dashboard, configure, prompt, actions. I'm going to go down to deployment. Now, I have my integration done properly with Twilio or RingCentral or whoever else I'm using. Then my phone number is right here. I can go ahead and select that and change it. I'm not going to walk through that integration. It's fairly simple. You can find a lot of different videos on that. I believe I walked through that in my SendFlow setup video that I put out earlier. I'll have a link in the description for that. I'm within Go High Level. Good to go. Everything's already set up in there with the integration. I'm going to go ahead and put a webhook in right here and then hit initialize. Now, where I'll get that webhook, let me pop back into Go High Level, and I'm going to go ahead and copy to workflow. So I will get that webhook. I got rid of my trigger. I'll go ahead and click on add new trigger, type in the word inbound, and then now I have a webhook here that I can use. If this does not pop up, you can click on generate new webhook, and then now I have a webhook that's good to go. And then I would click on fetch sample request. After I'd made a few phone calls from going into SendFlow, I hit initialize, and then now I make a few phone calls. So now it's got some transcripts to pull out. I don't have any of those right here just because I haven't tested this workflow. But if I did, I would click on fetch samples, and then now I would be able to scroll down, click on refresh or renew, and then now I have a couple different options that I can choose. I can click on those, and then now I can actually begin to build out and optimize my post-call outcome data. So let's go ahead and pop back into SendFlow. Okay, and we'll walk through setting the rest of this up. So we are super close to being done. Our phone number would get set up here, and I could go into calls here, and I could listen to maybe calls we're doing during the testing. But for the specific agent, if I had phone calls, which I don't right now because we're just setting this up as a demo for the video, if I had phone calls, they would be right here. I would click on this, and then showing me that I don't have a phone number because I've attached nothing to this. But in here, I could actually listen to all the calls and see exactly what time they called in, how long the call was, what the phone number was, all that different stuff. And then now I can begin to optimize based on the back end. This has been up and running maybe 30, 60, 90 days okay, I caught something in this phone call. Maybe I listened to just a couple a week. We go on to make some tweaks to the prompt, retest it. Okay, it sounds better. I listened to a few calls recorded. Maybe a week later, okay, it's fixed. Awesome. So I'll go ahead and walk through exactly what this looks like if we were using an AI voice agent that was live that people had already been calling. So again, this is just our demo account. I can't really go through a client's account using this because then you can see their phone numbers, all that good stuff. But okay, so I can go ahead and filter a couple different things. I can do ahead and I can do calls that happened last week. I can listen to those recordings. I can do last month. I can do last 90 days, or I can do custom. I only want to look at calls that came in from this date to this date. I can also do calls that were only a certain duration. So I only want to listen to calls that were more than 5 minutes, because obviously that was a very engaged customer, or less than 1 minute. I want to figure out why people hung up. I want to go ahead and look on the status. Was it completed? Was it hang up? Was it, failed? Was it in progress? Checking, paused, type of calls, live, test. So I can go through and I can listen to everything here. Last thing that I'll walk through is if you have phone numbers, here where you manage those. If you have multiple phone numbers, here's where I can manage those phone numbers. I don't know, I think we have close to 20 phone numbers in this account. And then last thing that we will go ahead and look at is actually walking through how to duplicate this agent. So if I went ahead and I built this agent and I'm looking for, maybe I want to duplicate this and I want to attach 4 agents to the exact same Go High Level account, and I want to have 4 different phone numbers because they all have different intents, I could go ahead and click on duplicate right here, change the phone number, and then now I could have one that only handled phone calls from Facebook leads. Now I could have one that only handled phone calls from billboards. Now I could have one that only handled phone calls from yard signs, whatever else. So let's say you have a dozen properties and I already made it. Everything's working great. I'm going to go ahead and optimize that so it only has information about each property, or within my post-call outcome data, so I can have specific tags coming in. If they called from this number using this, we put it in this webhook, they were always calling from this. So just depending on exactly how much you want to keep track of everything. Last thing, if you're looking for outbound agents, I'm going to go ahead and go through the exact same process. I would click on start from scratch, outbound agent. I would make pretty much everything exactly the same. There's a few minor tweaks, very simple overall. And then now I can have an agent that actually calls outbound to leads. So that can all be set up within Go High Level. I walk through that in my SynthFlow full A to Z setup, and I'll put a link for that in the description. So again, this was part 1 for creating a real estate agent for AI voice agent. I'm going to go ahead and in this video, and then in part 2, we'll be discussing creating a chatbot for the AI space for real estate.